This is Sawyer Robertson, and you're listening to the Bearcast on SicEm365.com.
Welcome into the Bearcast on SicEm365.com. I'm your host, Grayson Grundhoefer, and today I'm here with the Athletics, Tobias Bass. Tobias, thank you so much for joining today. I know you got to see Baylor practice this past week, so we're going to recap some of those things that you got to see. So I guess that's the first question, man. I mean, you got to go to practice, I guess, a week ago. What did you see from Scott Drew's team in the time that you got to see them?
For sure. First of all, thanks for having me on, for sure. And what I saw was this Baylor team, they're a different team. You know, typically in the past, they kind of been led by their guards. They had some of the best guards, definitely best freshmen in the country, Keontae George, Kobe Walters, list goes on and on. This year, I think the best part of the team is probably their wings, Skillings, Rataj, Tunde, Cameron Carr. I think that's probably their best group. But they're good. They look a little bit different than they have in the past, but they're super versatile. I think they have a lot of guys that can play multiple positions and guard multiple positions, something that may be different than we're accustomed to seeing. But I did like what I saw, though.
You know, it's kind of a new age, obviously, in college basketball. And for Baylor, I mean, this team is completely different than a year ago. It's like fans are still trying to figure out who these guys are, where they came from. Just watching them, do you feel like that is a sustainable thing to do, at least for a year? I don't think that's going to be the recipe, every year, but for this year, do you feel like they can still be competitive with that kind of route?
I do think they can. It's unfortunate, right? Everyone leaves. They either go to the NBA, transfer, graduate, or whatever. So your most experienced player as far as culture is Cameron Carr, who's been there about 9 months. Yeah. So it's different. I wouldn't make that the recipe every year. But I do think Scott Drew and staff, he's a great coach with good people around him, and he has good players, good character guys. So I do think that matters. So in a pinch, which will be this year, I think you can make it work.
Okay, I got to ask, because I think, a lot of people have different questions about various guys on the team, just kind of getting to know the team. But the one name that is always brought up is five-star wing Tunde Yesufu. Yeah. I mean, the mixtapes came out. He's looking like Anthony Edwards out there on these videos and stuff. What have you seen from Tunde just from practice, but also, getting to see him on the high school circuit? What do you think about his game and it translating to not only the college level, but the pro level?
He's worth the price of admission. One, because he just plays so hard, man. For a kid that's ranked as high as he does, sometimes they don't want to play hard. They don't really want to guard. That is not him at all. He's jumping for loose balls. He's in the stands. He really wants to guard. He's a culture kid. Like, you need players like that in your locker room. And he's good. I mean, I don't think he'll be there very long. Baylor has a history of that. Those guys come and go. Typically after 1 year, I think he'll be the next one. But just a really strong, athletic kid. Really, really can score. They're putting him on the ball a little bit more too, which I like to see. Let him be able to distribute and things like that. He has some good chemistry with some of the bigs we were seeing in practice. So, and you can tell he really wants to win. So, like, there was a sequence in practice. I think they were doing like some screen and roll, and I think the big didn't catch it, or he kind of threw it kind of awkward, and he was like, "No, I want to do this again." Like, he wants to be good, and you can really, really tell. Some kids will always practice. I'll just go to the back of the line. Doesn't matter. He really wants to be good, and I love seeing that from a kid like that.
So I think most people feel like it's a given that, maybe he'll be their best player, but also there's been some candidates who have arisen kind of over the offseason. And, you got to see Obi Agbum play really well in the World University game, shooting the ball. Dan Skillings has been just kind of this consistent motor for them. And then Michael Rataj, who played for the Germany team during the World University games. Do you think that's the group? Do you think there's maybe another guy that should be mentioned? Who do you think is Baylor's best player this year?
Definitely that group. Rataj, he's good. He's really good. I saw him in Oregon State, but seeing him in person, he just does a little bit of everything. He can shoot the three ball. I think he's legit 6'9". He's super skilled, knows how to play. I really am a fan of his. I like him a lot. Then another one is Cameron Carr. He's 6'5", I think 7'1", wingspan, something like that. I think he may be a pro. Honestly, when I watched him, I was like, there's something there. If they can really, work with him maybe in another year or so, I think he has a chance to be a pro. So he's going to be really, really good for them. I think he'll catch a lot of people off guard.
Yeah, and he made your breakout player list. And he was not, I wouldn't say a surprise. I think Baylor fans, because obviously Baylor had the advantage of seeing these guys at the World University game, so got to see a lot of these guys play well. But, he was listed But then also kind of not a shocker, but an interesting one was you also listed Isaac Williams on that list as well for breakout players from Baylor. What is it about those two guys that kind of had you put them on the list, and what are your expectations for them? Real quick, Sawyer Robertson has something to remind you about.
Want the latest information about your favorite team? Try out SIGM 365 premium content the next 3 months for just $5 by clicking the link below.
And now back to the Bearcast. What is it about those two guys that kind of had you put them on the list, and what are your expectations for them?
So Williams, I have been watching him in high school. He's from Oklahoma, played some high school ball in Dallas. He was ranked really high at one point coming in high school. Stuff kind of didn't go his way. He goes to Corpus. He was solid there, 8, 9 points, whatever it was. But I knew when they took him, I said they're playing the long game. Like, he may not be the star now, but they're banking on in the future he may be good. So when I went to go see him, he's really good. I think that he may be an all-conference player in a couple of years. I think he's good enough. I think he will be. So, I mean, they did a hell of a job for them. For one, not only trusting their eyes, trusting their eval, but that's a kid you don't have to worry about in the portal anymore. Because if he just stays at Corpus, you probably don't get him anyway. So they went ahead and took him probably a year early, but he's going to play. He's going to play a lot this year, and I think that he's going to help them win some games for sure.
I think the biggest question everyone has for this Baylor team this year is kind of that point guard position, being able to take care of the basketball specifically. They don't have a true just like floor general. It's kind of more scoring guards. What would you say to that? Do you feel like there's a candidate who could really run this offense, run the show for them, or is it just going to be kind of by committee?
I think it'll be by committee. I think Williams, that may be his de facto job. He's young, not super experienced, but this may just how the team is designed, right? It may be a trial by fire. You know what I mean? I think that may be what you see at first. But I think what helps him is their wings are skilled. Like Skillings, he doesn't shoot it well, but he's a very good college basketball player. Taj is a very good basketball player. So I think when you have some of those older guys, they may be able – they're not going to be, facilitating, bringing the ball for quarter or anything like that. But in the half-court setting, I do think they can maybe be able to help some of those guards out far as they're facilitating, seeing the floor. Because for Taj, he's skilled. He really can pass the ball. Skillings is the same way. He makes up for his shooting with his beard to be able to see above the defense. So I do think that both of those guys will be able to help some of those guards, especially Williams.
Okay, and then as far as their bigs go, this is kind of the other area that they're trying to figure out. I know they're trying to work Bodo back in, who's the transfer from High Point, and then they got Caden Powell. What'd you see from the bigs? Do you think they're going to start a true big, or do you think it might be a situation where it's like Ratai plays the 5, Skillings plays the 4, Tunde plays the 3, Cam Carr plays the 2? Like, do you think they get by like that?
I would absolutely love that, what you just said. I would love to see them be creative because I think you can do it. Like, Todd, he's a big boy. He's legit 6'9". I do think that there may be times Bodo's in foul trouble. We'll just throw him at the 5. We might be able to play some 5 out, some 4 out, 1 in. I think they'll be able to – that may be what they may do at one point because they're just so versatile. I think Vitas can play on the wing, and he may be a mismatch nightmare for an opposing 5. But to answer your question, I think – Bodo, I think he's just good enough. I think he'll probably be the de facto 5. I think so, but it wouldn't surprise me if they did do what you're saying and they throw Taj at the 5. That wouldn't surprise me at all.
Okay, so based on what you saw, and I know you've gotten to see some other programs as well, what are kind of your, I guess, expectations for Baylor this year? Where do you think they finish in the Big 12? Do you think they make it to, the second weekend in the tournament, or, one and done or something like that?
I think they should be able to get into the tournament. I think what concerns me may be some of the shooting. Because when you throw a lineup on there like that, Skilling, he doesn't shoot it that well. It's where these outside shots coming from. Yeah. That may be the concerning part, but I think they're versatile enough. They're well coached. They should make the tournament. And as far as how long, I can see they may be getting the second weekend. They'll probably be done probably after that. But they should make the tournament what they have if they can stay healthy, though. And they have a bunch of intriguing long-term pieces. So I would like to see them over the course of the year. I think like when you see Isaac Williams, Cameron Carr, now when we get into the new year, they're going to be much better.
Do you think kind of just watching this team and the way that they look, the way that they've been assembled, is this more of kind of what you feel like Scott Drew should be going for instead of what they've done in the past, where it feels like their guards have kind of been attacked on the defensive side and it's like their offense is good, but then their defense isn't as good? Like, do you feel like kind of these type of body types are going to be more effective going forward? Obviously, you need to find more shooting or more point guard play, but is this a better recipe, you think, for success now in college basketball?
I mean, this is the coach. He's won a national championship in the last 5 years. So that group was very special. I think I like what he's doing. Them they're long. Like Williams is long, Carr is long. So I think that they'll be able to get stops or get defensive pressure just with their length on the end. But you have to have those type of players that they just have to want to guard. Like guarding is mostly effort. You have to want to do that type of thing. And in this league, it's so hard. All the players are good. The pros at every team. The worst team has a pro to the best team. So I think it makes sense what he's doing. But you even look at some of the people he's recruiting, a little bigger at the positional size of what he wants before. We'll talk about it later. But like Gooseby, he's long.
Yeah.
Mingo's long arm. Holmes is long. So he may be trying to shift a little bit what he's thinking.
When you watch them at practice, did you see kind of growth on the defensive end, the rebounding end? I know these are all areas they've been trying to address in the offseason. Is that something that stood out to you at all?
It did. I think Coach Sanchez, he really was getting on them about that. He was really just like pounding away, like, you have to guard. Like, he was like, I think he had like a quote in there or something about, if we get to Big 12 play and we still can't guard, we failed you. Like, we failed you guys, us as a staff. So we have to guard. If we don't guard, we're not going to be good enough. So you can tell they've really been putting that, emphasis in their head. So.
Okay. As far as the recruiting side of things, I know you get to cover that as well and get to see a lot of these guys. So I got to ask about Baylor's commit in, I guess, the 2026 class, Elijah Williams. I know you've gotten to see him. What do you think about him? What do you think about his fit at Baylor? Has he impressed you kind of on the recruiting trail at all?
Elijah, he's interesting. I remember the first time I saw him, he was a freshman. He was in Arizona. I think he played for Unity in the summer. I was like, he's okay. He was ranked really high at the time. I think like 8, 9 in the country. I was like, he's okay. Mm-hmm. He's gotten so much better. I love when a kid proves me wrong, because like he's not that good. Well, he's good now. He's very good now. So I love to see when the kid does and how much better he's gotten. His dad's a former NBA head coach, played in the NBA. So he's just really smart. He just knows how to play, picks his spots, big frame, can really score from the mid-range. So he'll be a good productive player for Baylor. That was a very good gift for them.
Is there something about his game that took the biggest step forward from when you saw him the first time?
I think he's gotten better, but I think it was just, the confidence. This is a kid, he kind of bounced around. It wasn't his fault. Dad, the head coach, you got to take jobs where they are. So for seeing him be able to, adapt and then just get better at all the spots that he's been, I think that was just the most impressive thing to me, for him to play in Arizona, to play in Detroit, then come back to Texas. And he's been good. He's gotten better literally every step of the way. You can look it up. He's just gotten better. So that was impressive for me, because sometimes kids, when they have to move around that much, they kind of get thrown in the fold. But from the Detroit days to the Texas days, he's made a massive jump. So I'm definitely proud of him, and he'll be a good gift for Baylor.
Okay, so some other guys that Baylor's definitely in on. There's 3 names that I've kind of been looking at. One of them is taking an official visit. One's taking an official visit next weekend. And then I know you also wanted to talk about Austin Gooseby as well, who's a 5-star prospect. Let's start with Gooseby. I obviously he's being recruited by Baylor, a big-time target, 5-star kid. What have you seen from him? What have you seen from his growth development? And then where do you think he's at right now as far as his recruitment goes?
I think he's the best. I think he's the best kid in the state of Texas. So I think he's been that way even probably for the last year and a half, 2 years. Big fan of his. Big, wing type of player, has some playmaking ability, in there. So he's another one. He kind of just really emerged. I know at one point him and Dakari Spear, their teammates, they were kind of battling, back and forth. And I think Gooseby the last year or so, he's really just taken that jump and emerged as, to me, the best player in the state of Texas. Oh. So I think he fits with what Baylor likes to do, especially if he's going to start getting these bigger, longer wings. And he's a guy that in the half court, he can run offense. Like, he has, he can facilitate. He knows how to pick his spots. He's a good player. So I would like to see, Baylor's recruiting him hard. He's getting recruited hard by BYU, Texas. I know Duke was messing with him a little bit, but in SMU as well. But I know Baylor, they're making a strong push to get him.
Okay, and then the other 2 guys I wanted to ask about, Dylan Mingo, 5-star guy, took an official visit to Baylor. I don't know if you have an update for him just as far as recruitment goes, but what have you seen from him? I know he was teammates with VJ Edgecombe, who's obviously now in the NBA.
I mean, he's another one. You know, Bryson Howard committed yesterday to Duke.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you could find another kid that had a better summer than him outside of Bryson. I mean, he at the NBA top 100 camp, he was phenomenal. I mean, they happen to be teammates, Bryson and Dylan, but they took that camp over. That kid went from probably a top 40, 50 recruit to a top 7 recruit in the country. So 6'5" combo guard. Again, we're talking about the length there. He's just he's a really, really good player. And it was impressive to see him get good so fast because he's always been good, but just that jump was just crazy. You know, when you make a jump like that, you have to be consistent. And I think the biggest thing for him was the consistency. He played really well in that camp, and he just kept doing it. I'm waiting for him to have a bad game. Well, damn it, he's not doing it. He's consistently good, and I think that's one reason why Baylor's going after him.
Yeah, and he'd kind of fit that mold of what they've been getting the last few years as far as a one and done. Guy who comes in and is just like, okay, well, he's going to be a top 10 pick or a lottery pick along those lines. Okay, the final one's Cameron Holmes, who's visiting Baylor next weekend on an official visit. What have you seen from Cameron? Do you know kind of what's going on with his recruitment at all?
I know Arizona's recruiting him hard. Gonzaga, Carolina's recruiting him hard. You know that Arizona Connect. I don't quote me. I think they brought over somebody from his high school.
That sounds right. I think they're the favorite. Yeah,
they hired someone at Arizona. You know that may be, you know, from foreshadowing there, but he's good though. I think his brother may have played in the NBA or something like that. But he good, big lefty swing man, can score the ball. I think 6'9", 6'6" with shoes on, 6'9" wingspan. Excuse me. Straight line driver, can really attack the rim. So he's another one. Again, we're talking about that length. That's been probably the word of the podcast so far. I think he's starting to see, like, you know, defense has been a problem in the past. We're going to get some long, athletic guys on the wing and see if we can just be disruptive.
We're talking about all these very high-profile guys, and I know Baylor's got a lot of success. Baylor has a national championship in the last 5 years, but like when you go to kind of talk to kids or when you're looking around, what's kind of the vibe on Baylor and the program? What do you hear about Baylor as far as just all these kids being? I mean, there's a lot of really good kids that are interested in the Baylor program right now.
And I think it's a very fun system, especially if you're a guard. I mean, he lets his guards go. He puts a lot of them in the NBA. You can cut the TV on today. There'll be a few that went to Baylor that are there. I think that as well. And then they won a national championship in the last 5 years. I think in the last 23, 24 years, no one west of Baylor has won a national championship. Believe it, so no one has won. So they're the only school in that part of the world west of that haven't won. So I think Scott Drew is a phenomenal coach. And if I was a kid, I would have to take a look at him. I would.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining today, Tobias. I really appreciate it, man. This has been awesome. Just kind of all kinds of content about Baylor. So I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks. Bring me on whenever you want.
Awesome, man. Thanks, everyone, for listening. This has been the Bearcast on SicEm365.com.
Join SicEm 365 Premium on a $1 for 1 month trial to read our experts' notes and insights. Know about high school commits, off-season transfers, coaching staff changes, and so much more before the rest. Also, download the SicEm 365 app on your iPhone today to get instant notifications of breaking news, read up on the latest inside info, easily interact with other Baylor fans on our forums, and get alerts for anything published by your favorite staff members.